motorsiklo ang bigla na lamang nagliyab habang inaayos ito sa repair shop sa Jiangxi, China.
Nako, inasakta naman kaya repairman na may hawak nito at ano naman ang dahilan ng pagliyab ng nasabing motorsiklo? Ating alamin ang mga detalye mula sa mga balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Ricky Mathay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alagaw Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong araw ng Lunes.
Pilipinas at Estados Unidos nagsagawa ng maritime cooperative activity sa West Philippine Sea.
58 pesos kada kilo na maximum suggested retail price sa mga imported na bigas, umarangkada na.
Israel inaprubahan na ang ceasefire deal.
Tunghayan natin ang naging paghahanda para sa inaugurasyon ni US President-elect Donald Trump kasama ang NET25 News Washington, D.C. Bureau.
At TikTok, balik operasyon na sa Estados Unidos. Nagsagawa ng 2 araw na Maritime Cooperative Activity o MCA ang Pilipinas at ang Estados Unidos bilang bahagi pa rin po ng kanilang bilateral activities sa West Philippine Sea o WPS.
Ayon kay Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr., isinagawa ang joint maritime drills nitong January 17 at 18 para ipakita ang malakas na ugnayan ng AFP at ng US Navy. Kabilang sa mga asset ng Pilipinas na lumahok sa MCA ay ang BRP Antonio Luna, BRP Andres Bonifacio, 2 FA-50 fighter aircraft at Philippine Air Force Search and Rescue assets. Sa panig naman ng Estados Unidos, sumali ang asset na USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group, USS Princeton, USS Sterett, MH-60 Seahawk helicopter, V-22 Osprey helicopter at 2 eroplano ng F-18 Hornet. Aniya, may tuturing na isang crucial element ang pagsasanay sa karagatan ng AFP at US Navy, partikular ang kooperasyon sa depensa ng dalawang bansa. Gate ni Bronner, sa tulong ng MCA ay nagiging handa at epektibo ang sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas para sa posibleng kakaharaping problema at hamon ng AFP sa WPS. Bunga rin anya ito ng pangako at pagsisikap ng AFP na pangalagaan ang pambansang interes ng Pilipinas at masiguro ang isang mapayapang rehiyon. Ito na ang pang-5 beses na MCA ng militar ng Pilipinas at US, una itong inilunsad noong taong 2023.
Magpapadala ng tulong ang Pilipinas sa mahigit sa 150 Pilipino na apektado ng wildfire sa Los Angeles, California. Kinumpirma ng Department of Migrant Workers o DMW ang mga Pilipinong biktima ng sunog ay permanenteng nakatira sa US at mga green card holders na. Sa ngayon ay abala ang Philippine Consulate sa LA sa pag-asikaso sa mga Pilipinong apektado ng wildfires dahil sa nananalasang windstorms doon. Nakipag-unayan na rin ang DMW sa mga lokal na otoridad sa LA upang matiyak na nasa ligtas na kalagayan ang mga Pilipino. Inabisuhan naman ng ahensya ang mga overseas Filipino workers sa LA na apektado rin po ng windstorms at wildfires sa California na makipag-ugnayan sa DMW Migrant Workers Offices via hotline o kaya email address para sa agarang tulong.
Nagsimula na ang pagpapatupad ng maximum suggested retail price o SRP na 58 pesos kada kilo sa mga imported rice, gayon din ang pagbabago ng label ng mga ito. Kinumpirma ni Agriculture Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa na mag-iikot sa mga iba't ibang palengke sa Metro Manila ang mga pamunuan ng Department of Agriculture o DA at ng Department of Trade and Industry o DTI upang tiyakin na masusunod ang maximum SRP. Sinabi rin ng kalihim na napagkasunduan ni Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. at ng mga mayor sa Metro Manila na tutulong ang local government units sa pagpapatupad ng maximum SRP sa mga imported na bigas. Anya ang DTI at mga LGUs na ang bahalang mag-monitor at magpataw ng sanctions sa mga umaabusong rice traders. Sa ilalim kasi ng Price Act, pwedeng magpatong ng 10% na dagdag presyo ang mga traders sa mga paninda nilang imported na bigas bago ito ibenta. Ngunit bisa ng maximum SRP, ang inirekomenda ng DA na pinakamataas nito ay 58 pesos. Nilinaw naman ni De Mesa na hindi kasama sa implementasyon ng maximum SRP ang ibang varieties ng bigas katulad ng malagkit, black at red rice.
Inaasahan naman na magdedeklara ang Department of Agriculture or DA ng Food Security Emergency sa araw ng Miyerkules, January 22. Inihayag ni Agriculture Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa, posibleng matanggap na ng ahensya ang kopya ng resolusyon para aprubahan ang rekomendasyon na magdedeklara ng food security emergency sa bigas at pag-aaralan ito mula araw ng Lunes hanggang Martes. Sa ilalim po ng batas na nag-aamyenda sa Agricultural Tarification Act, may kapangyarihan ang Agriculture Secretary na magdeklara ng food security emergency sa bigas kung may kakulangan sa supply nito o kaya labis naman ang pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas. Nilinaw ng kalihim, kaya magdedeklara ng food security emergency sa bigas ay dahil sa extraordinary increase sa presyo nito sa kabila ng pagtapyas ng taripa para sa imported rice.
Hinimok ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang Tesla ni tech billionaire Elon Musk na ikonsidera nito na maging manufacturer ng mga electric vehicles or EV ang Pilipinas.
So today, we mark another significant step in our fight against climate change. While it is true that electric vehicles are currently seen as premium products, Tesla's entry into the Philippines signals much more than high-tech cars on the road. It is a very significant step forward to our long-term transformation towards a more environmentally friendly transportation.
Sa ginanap na inaugurasyon ng Tesla Center Philippines, ipinakita kay Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang iba't ibang modelo ng e-vehicles sa showroom ng Tesla. Itinampok din dito ang sariling service center, delivery center, headquarters at main office ng kumpanya. Mula rito ay binigyan din ng Pangulo ang kahalagahan ng EV manufacturing para sa pagpapaunlad ng transportasyon ng Pilipinas. Anya, makatutulong ang EV para sa transition ng Pilipinas tungo sa sustainable transport system at mabawasan ang carbon emissions. Tinukoy din ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. na bukod sa pagsulong ng e-vehicles transportation ay pinalalakas din ng Tesla ang lokal na mga manggagawa. November 8, 2024 nang opisyal na pumasok sa Pilipinas ang Tesla sa pamamagitan ng subsidiary nito na Tesla Motors Philippines.
Asahan na ng mga motorista ang malaking dagdag sa presyo ng produktong petrolyo bukas na po, January 21. Ito na ang pangatlong pagkakataon ngayong buwan pa lamang na sumirit pataas ang presyo ng petroleum products. Bukas ay itataas na ng mga oil industry firms ng piso 65 ang presyo kada litro ng gasolina. 2.70 naman ang taas sa presyo ng kada litro ng diesel habang 2.50 ang dagdag sa kada litro ng kerosene o gas. Dati nang pinaliwanag ng Department of Energy na isa sa sanhi ng price hike ay ang pagpapataw ng Estados Unidos at ng United Kingdom ng bagong sanctions sa Russian oil.
Tinawag na sinungaling ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte dahil sa mga alegasyon nito ukol sa umano'y blank items at discrepancies sa 2025 General Appropriations Act o GAA.
He's lying. He's a president. He knows that you cannot pass a GAA without with a blank. He's lying. He's lying because he knows perfectly well that that doesn't ever happen.
Nitong nakaraang Sabado ay sinabi ni Duterte na invalid daw ang ipinasang GAA kaya hindi raw dapat ipatupad ang 6.326 trillion pesos na pambansang budget dahil hindi anya ito pinapayagan ng batas. Ngunit hinamon ngayong araw ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang publiko na hanapin ang sinasabing blank check sa GAA upang patunayan na siya ay nagsasabi ng totoo habang nagsisinungaling naman si dating Pangulong Duterte. Makikita naman anya sa website ng Department of Budget and Management o DBM ang kopya ng 2025 GAA.
I was watching the news earlier today and people were saying it's 4,000 pages. Paano namin ibubusisiin yan? Ang gaganto, para titignan namin isa-isa. Hindi na lang. Meron namang kopya that's available on the website of DBM. Tignan ninyo, huwag na ninyong busisiin isa-isa. Hanapin nyo yung sinasabi nila na blank check. Tignan ninyo kung meron kahit isa para mapatunayan na tama ang sinasabi ko, kasinungalingan yan. Sa kasaysayan ng buong Pilipinas, hindi pinapayagan na magkaroon ng item ang GAA nang hindi nakalagay kung ano yung project at saka ano yung gastos, ano yung pondo. So, it's a lie.
Samantala, mas paiigtingin pa ang seguridad sa lahat ng kampo at pasilidad na militar sa buong Pilipinas. Ito po ay kasunod ng pagkakaaresto sa isang Chinese national at 2 Pilipino na umano ay sangkot sa espionage o pag-iespiya sa EDCA sites at mga kampo militar ng bansa. Kinilala ang mga inaresto na sina Deng Wanqing, Ronel Jojo Balundo Besa at Jason Amado Fernandez. Ayon kay National Bureau of Investigation o NBI Cybercrime Division Chief Attorney Jeremy Lotok, si Deng ay isang technical software engineer at graduate ng universidad na kontrolado ng People's Liberation Army ng China. 5 taon na rin anyang nananatili ang nasabing Chinese national sa Pilipinas. Samantala, sina Besa at Fernandez naman ay nagsilbi mga driver ni Deng. Batay sa inisyal na impormasyon ng Department of Justice, Armed Forces of the Philippines o AFP at NBI, gumagamit ng teknolohiya ang 3 suspect para magmanman sa ilang EDCA sites, power plants, kampo ng militar, police stations, mga pantalan, mga paliparan, mga shopping malls at ilang opisina ng LGU sa Luzon. Nakumpiska rin mula sa mga suspect ang sasakyan at ICT equipment na sinasabing ginamit ng mga ito sa pagmamanman. Sinabi ng NBI na kaakolekta ang mga equipment ng mga datos kagaya ng coordinates at topografiya ng mga pinuntahang lugar at naipadala umano in real time sa China. At may plano rin nila ang mga suspect na pagkatapos maikot ang Luzon ay isusunod na ng mga ito ang pagmamanman sa Visayas at sa Mindanao.
Since December, nag-start na po yung aming casing and surveillance. And then with the assistance, actually, yung ating Armed Forces of the Philippines, naval operatives, we were able to track them and identify those equipments installed doon sa subject vehicle. They have this remote application in their ICT equipment which in real time tinatransmit nila outside. Meron hong user yung application na yon remotely na nasa labas ng ating bansa, kinukulate yung mga data na nakukuha nitong subject group natin. Pwede ho kasi itong gamitin in terms of drone control. Malalaman ho nila yung ating topography, makikita ho nila yung structure natin, yung terrain natin. So kung yung may interest dito is capable in terms of robotics, kaya na po nilang i-control unmanned and even autonomous vehicle operation.
Ayon naman kay AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr., mapanganib ang mga datos na nakolekta dahil posible itong magamit sa military targeting. Iniimbestigahan na rin anya ng AFP kung konektado ang grupo sa ibang Chinese spy suspects na nadakip nila noon.
Not just the topography of the area, but what kinds of vehicles can pass through these kinds of topography. Or kung meron po ho kasing mga detalye na hindi nakikita, let's say ng satellites, na mas nakikita dun sa ground. So these are all very important information that we believe kapag nagamit po ng military would be very dangerous for us. Sa ngayon po, we are still conducting also the forensics on the equipment, but initially what we saw in the equipment were pictures of camps, no? Picture ng Fort Bonifacio, picture ng Camp Aguinaldo, picture ng Camp Crame, and because all of these devices, including the ones that we saw in the vehicles, are all data collecting devices. So as to the purpose of this, tinitignan po ho natin at yung pagkakadugtong-dugtong, yung connection nila towards collecting all of this data.
Susunod, supporters ni Yoon Suk-yeol dinumog ang korte ng South Korea.
Unang hostage exchange sa ilalim ng Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal naganap na.
At buong mundo nakatutok sa inauguration ni US President Donald Trump. Mga detalye po ng mga balita niyan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Yawan sa barangay.
Sa Lunes, magkita-kita tayo sa Barangay 188 Zone 17, Tondo, Manila.
Sa Martes, magkwentuhan tayo kasama ang mga taga-barangay 770 San Andres, Bukid, Manila.
Sa Miyerkules, magsasaya tayo sa Barangay Muzon, Malabon City.
Sa Huwebes, sakang kalu tayo sa Barangay 177 Zone 15, Caloocan City.
Sa Biyernes, Malabonians ang pupuntahan natin sa Barangay Potrero, Malabon City.
See you mga kabarangay dito sa LEE. Love Tony Pet and everything.
Love Tony Pet and everything. Let's knit together. Sa NET25.
Nilusob ng mga supporters ni South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol ang court building matapos na mapalawig ng 20 araw pa ang pagkakakulong ng kanilang Pangulo. Matapos kasi na i-anunsyo ng korte sa South Korea, ang desisyon ay naging agresibo na mga nagpoprotesta at lumusob na sa lugar. Noong nakarang linggo ay naging kauna-unahang nakaupong Pangulo ng South Korea si Yoon na inaresto. Dinagdagan ng Seoul Western District Court ang detention ni impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol sa pangamba na baka sirain nito ang mga ebidensya laban sa kanya na may kaugnayan sa pagdedeklara nito ng martial law. Ikinagalit naman ito ng daan-daang mga supporters ng dating Pangulo at nag-iwan ng mga sirang bintana at sirang mga pintuan sa building ng korte na siyang tumambad sa mga otoridad pagkatapos ng ilang oras na pag-anunsyo ng extended detention ni Yoon. Daan-daang kapulisan naman ang agad na umaksyon sa naging protesta na ito ng mga supporters ng dating presidente na nagsabing isang unfolding situation ang naging pag-atake ng mga ito sa korte. Sa ngayon ay nananatili sa kustodiya ng Seoul Western District Court si Yoon na mananatili pa sa pasilidad ng karagdagang 20 araw. Samantala, hinamon naman ng abogado ni Yoon na si Bae Bo-yoon ang Constitutional Court ng Korea na sagutin ang mga alegasyon ni Yoon ukol sa naganap na election rigging bilang ebidensya sa kanyang impeachment trial.
선거 제도가 문제가 있다고 하면 의기제가 문제가 있다고 하면 국민의 주권 행사가 제대로 되지 않지 않겠습니까? 그래서 그 부분에 대한 시스템 점검 차원에서 개엄의 중요 이유 중에 하나고 그 부분은 답변서의 중요한 부분으로 답변을 했습니다. 그와 관련해서 증거 신청을 지금 저희들이 증거 신청을 많이 했습니다.
Dagdag nito na ito ang isang naging basehan ng pagdeklara ni Yoon ng martial law noon. Bumwelta naman ang korte kung saan sinabi nito na ang sistema ng kanilang eleksyon ay transparent at naaayon sa tamang proseso ng checks and balances.
윤석열의 파면이 곧 애국입니다. 신속한 재판을 통해 사법 정의를 보여줄 수 있도록 최선을 다하겠습니다.
Inaprubahan na ng gobyerno ng Israel ang ceasefire at hostage release deal nito sa Hamas sa Gaza. Nagbibigay daan ito para sa ganap na maging epektibo na ang kasunduan noong linggo. Ginawa ang naturang desisyon matapos ang ilang oras ng diskusyon na umabot hanggang gabi ng Biyernes. Nasa two far-right ministers naman ang tumutol sa naturang kasunduan. Nauna na ngang inirekomenda ng Israeli Security Cabinet ang pagratipika sa naturang kasunduan at sinabing sinusuportahan nila ang tagumpay ng mga layunin sa giyera base na rin sa pahayag mula sa opisina ni Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Sa ilalim nga ng ceasefire deal, palalayain ang 33 Israeli na bihag ng Hamas kapalit ng daan-daang Palestinong preso sa mga piitan ng Israel para sa unang bahagi ng kasunduang magtatagal ng 6 na linggo. Iaatras din ng Israel ang mga tropa nito sa Gaza. Papayagan ang mga Palestinong makabalik sa kanilang mga tahanan at pahihintulutan ang daan-daang humanitarian aid kada araw sa Gaza. Magsisimula naman sa ika-16 na araw ng ceasefire ang negosasyon para sa second phase kung saan inaasahan ang full withdrawal ng Israeli troops at pagpapanumbalik ng tuloy-tuloy na kaayusan. Sa ikatlo at huling bahagi ng kasunduan, ang reconstruction naman ng Gaza na posibleng aabutin ng ilang taon at ang pagbabalik sa mga natitirang mga labi na mga nasawing bihag ang pagtutuunan ng pansin.
Nagbitiw na sa pwesto si Israeli hardline National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir at dalawa pang ministro ng Israel bunsod ng pagpirma ni Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sa ceasefire deal sa Gaza. Kontra kasi si Ben-Gvir at ang kanyang partido sa kasunduan sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas na magwawakas sa labanan sa Gaza. Nagbotohan noong Biyernes ang gabinete kung pagtitibayin ba ang kasunduan. Sinasabing hindi malaking kawalan si Ben-Gvir sa gobyerno ni Netanyahu. Kamakailan, inayari nito si Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich na kontrahin ang ceasefire deal na ayon na inilarawan nitong mapanganib na pagsuko sa Hamas. Ayon kay Smotrich, ang kasunduang tigilan ng pakikipaglaban sa Hamas bilang kapalit ng mga bihag sa Gaza ay malaking kapahamakan para sa Israel. Sa kabila ng kanyang opinyon, hindi naman nagbantang magbibitiw rin si Smotrich. Subalit, nagbabala ang partido ni Smotrich na Religious Zionism Party na lilisanin nito ang gobyerno kung hindi babalik ang Israel sa gera upang talunin ang Hamas matapos kumpletuhin ang unang 6 na linggong ceasefire.
לצערנו, לא הצלחנו למנוע את העסקה המסוכנת הזו. אבל התעקשנו והצלחנו להבטיח בהחלטת ממשלה, בקבינט ובדרכים נוספות שהמלחמה לא תסתיים בשום אופן, ללא השגת מלוא מטרותיה ובראשן השמדה מוחלטת של חמאס בעזה. אזרחי ישראל, מחכים לנו ימים מרגשים וקשים. להתרגש ולשמח בחזרתם של חלק מחטופינו הביתה, אך נזכור, כי משימה קשה מחכה לנו מיד לאחר מכן לחזור ולהילחם עד הניצחון. משימתי כרגע אחת ויחידה, ניצחון מוחלט על חמאס, צבאית ואזרחית, והשבת כל חטופינו הביתה. אני מדגיש, לא נקבל שום תירוץ בעניין הזה. אנחנו לא נשב בממשלה שתפסיק חלילה את המלחמה ולא תמשיך עד הניצחון המלא על חמאס. עם ישראל היקר, אל תיפול רוחכם. במלחמה יש רגעים גדולים ונשגבים ורגעים מורכבים יותר. הרגע הזה שבו אנחנו נמצאים עכשיו הוא מסוג הרגעים המורכבים.
Pinalaya na ang nasa 70 Palestinong nakulong sa mga piitan ng Israel. Ito ay ilang oras matapos na pakawala ng Hamas ang katumbihag na Israeli at ipinasakamay muna sa Red Cross sa Gaza City bago i-turn over sa Israeli military. Ang pagpapalaya ng mga bihag at preso sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas ay bahagi ng unang phase ng ceasefire deal na nagganap na naging epektibo nitong linggo, January 19. Makikita po sa mga larawan ng mga pinalayang Palestine prisoners ang mahigpit na pagyakap, pananabik at mangiyak-ngiyak sa tuwa sa kanilang pagbabalik sa kani-kanilang mga pamilya. Samantala, ayon sa Hamas, palalayain ang nasa 30 Palestinian prisoners mula sa mga piitan sa Israel para sa bawat bihag na papakawalan ng Hamas mula sa Gaza.
وإننا ومع كل إخواننا في فصائل المقاومة الفلسطينية نعلن التزامنا باتفاق وقف إطلاق النار والجاهزية لتنفيذ بنوده والالتزام بشروطه من حيث وقف القتال والالتزام بالجدول الزمني للتبادل وتأمين أسرى العدو وصولا إلى تسليمهم مقابل أسرى شعبنا الأبطال الأحرار، وذلك في كافة مراحل الصفقة المتفق عليها، مع تأكيدنا على أن كل ذلك مرهون بالالتزام من قبل العدو.
Samantala, sa kaugnay na balita, sinimulan na ng Hamas ang pagpapakawala ng kanilang mga bihag matapos na maging epektibo na ang ceasefire deal sa pagitan nila at ng Israel.
שומע אותי?
כן, שלום. ראש הממשלה, אני נמצא במרכז המבצעים שלנו, של מערכת הביטחון, עם המוסד, עם השב"כ, עם צה"ל, עם כל המערכת שלנו, ואני רוצה לדווח לך שהחטופות שלנו הועברו לידי כוחותינו, וממש בדקות האלה הן עוברות את הגבול לשטחנו. אני מתרגש מאוד.
הם חצו כבר את הגבול לישראל?
זה ממש קורה בדקות האלה, עכשיו.
אז ברגע שזה קורה, דווח לי שהן נמצאות בשטח המדינה שלנו. זה יום מאוד מרגש. אלה החטופות הראשונות בסבב הזה שאנחנו מחזירים הביתה, ואני מבקש גל שתמסור להן, לרומי, לדורון, לאמילי, עם שלם מחבק אתכם. ברוכות השבות הביתה.
Ang tatlong mga Israeli hostages na unang bahagi ng 33 o 33 sa loob ng 6 na linggo ay kinilalang sina Romy Gonen, Doron Steinbrecher at Emily Damari. Ipinasakamay ng mga Hamas ang mga bihag sa mga tauhan ng Red Cross at ito ang dinala sa isang Israel military sa Gaza. Inaasahan din sa mga susunod na oras na pakakawala ng Israel ang mga bihag nilang Palestino. Ayon sa Red Cross, masigla at malusog ang mga bihag. Nagdiwag naman ang maraming Israeli sa Tel Aviv matapos ang pagpapakawala ng unang batch na bihag ng mga Hamas. Idiniin naman ng Hamas na kanilang sinusunod ang lahat ng alituntunin na napag-usapan ng magkabilang kampo sa napagkasunduang ceasefire.
Ngayong umaga naman ay pinakawala ng grupong Hamas ang tatlong hostages na to. Ayon sa pinuno ng hostage recovery team, nasa stable at maayos sa kondisyon ang unang tatlong bihag na pinalaya ng Hamas. Nakabalik na rin po anya ang mga ito sa kani-kanilang mga pamilya. Agila Guzman para sa report.
Noong linggo, sinabi ni Safra Children's Hospital Director Ite Paysak na nasa maayos na kalagayan ang tatlong hostages na pinakawalan ng Hamas kapalit ng 70 prisoners of war ng Israel. Ani Safra na sa piling na ng kani-kanilang mga pamilya ang mga pinalayang bihag at gugugol ng ilang araw upang makumpleto ang pagsusuri sa kabuuang kalusugan ng mga ito.
I'm happy to report that they are in stable condition that allows us and them to focus on what is the most important thing for now, is reuniting with their families. They are reunited with their families, and we will continue to monitor their clinical condition. This will take a few more days until we complete all the examinations that are needed and treat whatever we find within these within the workup that we will perform.
Ang tatlo ay una sa 33 inaasahang pakakawala ng Hamas sa unang phase ng deal. Sila ay sina Romy Gonen, Doron Steinbrecher at Emily Damari. Ang mga ito ay kabilang sa 100 bihag na kasama sa palalayain. Sinalubong ng kani-kanilang mga ina, sina Gonen, Steinbrecher at Damari sa pinagkasundo ang lugar sa Israel na malapit sa kibbutz at music festival kung saan sila dinukot noong 7 ng Oktubre 2023 sa Hamas raid na naging mitya ng gera. Sa isang video na ipinalabas ng militar, tila nasa maayos na kalagayan na nga ang tatlo. Si Damari na naputulan ng 2 daliri ng mabaril ay makikitang nakangiti habang niyayakap ang kanyang ina. Samantala, sinalubong naman ng Palestinians malapit sa Ramallah ang mga pinakawalang bihag naman ng Israel. isang convoy ng mga bus mululan ang Palestinian prisoners ang dumaan sa mga kalye kung saan nag-aabang ang mga nagdiriwang na Palestinians. Ito ay matapos lisanin ng mga bus ang Israeli military offer prison malapit sa Ramallah. Kasama sa mga ito ang 69 na kababaihan at 21 binatilyo mula sa West Bank at Jerusalem. Nagsimula ngayong linggo ang unang yugto ng kasunduan matapos ang 15 buwang giyera sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas. Ito ay matapos ang 3 oras na delay habang nagpasabog muna ang Israel sa Gaza Strip. NJ de Guzman para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Sa Gaza, nagdiwang ang isang grupo ng mga residente doon sa gitna ng balitang may ceasefire agreement na sa laban ng Israel at Hamas. Si Emmy Capilita Roja para sa balita.
Ayon sa Gaza ceasefire agreement, may paunang 6 na linggong yugto ang tigil putukan. Kasama rito ang pag-atras ng puwersang Israel mula sa Gaza Strip. Gayon din ang pagpapalaya sa natitira pang mga bihag ng Hamas kapalit ng mga bihag ng Israel. Sa gitna ng mga detalyeng ito, isa sa mga kinasasabikan ng Gazans ay makatulog ng payapa. Ayon sa mga residenteng makailang ulit ng lumikas dahil sa 15 buwang labanan, ngayon lang sila muling makakakain at makakapagpahinga ng matiwasay.
البيت الواحد ينام مرتاح ينام اخيم المهم ينام مرتاح يا اخي احنا فوق السنه و3 اشهر قاعدين مش عارفين لا ناكل ولا نشرب ولا ننام ولا نقعد كل ساعه بنقول ندعي الله وتوقف الحرب احنا يا جماعه بدنا نريح بدنا نعيش بامان ونشكر الله ونحمده الا في هذه الساعه سمعنا خبر كويس الحمد لله.
Pinangunahan ng mga bansang Egypt at Qatar ang pamamagitan sa usaping ceasefire. Ito ay sa suporta ng Estados Unidos na ilang araw mula ngayon ay sasailalim na sa panibagong administrasyon. Manunumpa si Republican President-elect Donald Trump sa Lunes sa inauguration ceremony nila ni Vice President-elect J.D. Vance sa U.S. Capitol. Emmy Capilita Roja para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Kaya naman silipin natin ang ating correspondent sa Washington, D.C. na kahit nasa matinding lamig ay nakaantabay din tulad ng marami sa inaugurasyon ng bagong Pangulo ng Estados Unidos na si Donald J. Trump. Alamin natin ang kaganapan doon ilang oras bago ang panunumpa. Narito si Rosel Feria.
Maya-maya lamang magpapalit na ng administrasyon ang Estados Unidos. Matatapos na ang pamumuno ni Joe Biden at magsisimulang muli ang pagkapangulo ni Donald Trump. Sa kabisera ng bansa dito sa US Capitol, isasagawa ang inaugurasyon ni Trump at ang vice-presidente nitong si J.D. Vance. Mamayang alas 12 ng tanghali dito sa Washington, D.C., manunumpa na naman si Trump bilang presidente. Subalit malaking pagkakaiba ngayon kumpara sa kanyang unang inaugurasyon noong 2017. Tradisyonal na isinasagawa ang inaugurasyon ng US Presidents sa hagdan ng Capitol Building tulad ng unang nanumpa si Trump. Subalit sa araw na ito dahil sa napakalamig na temperatura sa rehiyon, napilitang ilipat ng organizers ang seremonya sa loob ng gusali. Ayon sa National Weather Service, nasa 22 degrees Fahrenheit o minus 6 degrees Celsius sa oras na magiging ika-47 presidente ng US si Trump. Ito ay pinakamalamig mula nang nanumpa sa ikalawang pagkakataon si Pangulong Ronald Reagan kung saan bumagsak ang temperatura sa minus 14 degrees Celsius. Ang panunumpa ni Trump ay gagawin sa Capitol Rotonda. Ayon sa Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, 600 na katao lamang ang maaaring umuko pa sa rotonda. Inihahanda ito palagi bilang alternatibo para sa inaugurasyon sakaling sumama ang panahon. Kasama sa limitadong dadalo upang saksihan ang seremonya sa rotonda ay sina outgoing President Joe Biden, dating mga Pangulong Barack Obama, George W. Bush at Bill Clinton. Kasama rin sa listahan ng mga panauhin at may reserbadong VIP seats sina Jeff Bezos ng Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg ng Facebook, Elon Musk ng Tesla at X at si Xu Chu ng TikTok. Samantala, maraming Americans na bumiyahe pa mula sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa ang nalungkot dahil hindi nila masisilayan ang seremonya mula sa public viewing area sana ng National Mall.
We were planning on being in the standing crowd next to the Capitol for the inauguration tomorrow. So yes, we're very disappointed that we're not going to be a part of that, but we understand based upon the weather issues that we're experiencing, not to mention the security concerns that everyone has.
Ngunit may ilan namang naunawaan ng dahilan ng kanselasyon at humanap na lang ng positibong anggulo para sa pangyayari.
I'd be more disappointed if something were to happen due to the cold or something were to happen due to a lot of violence that's been happening this election cycle. That would be a major disappointment. So I'm really just happy to be a part of it. There's going to be so many lovely people that are still going to be here and events along with that, I'd imagine. So no, my only disappointment would lie in the hypothetical if something were to happen in the cold.
At para naman kay Chris Kenton na isang retiradong bombero mula pa sa California, kahit alam niyang kanselado ang outdoor events, sinili pa rin niya ang lugar.
Well, I came here to DC to check out what was going on. I had tickets for the inauguration, but evidently it's been canceled on the West Steps here, so it's kind of sad. But I showed up anywhere because I wanted to see what's actually going on and what the people are doing. And it seems unusually quiet. Actually, it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. It feels like a library.
Mahigpit ang seguridad sa paligid ng Kapitolyo. Mataas at bakal na mga bakod ang itinayo bilang deterrent o pananggalang sa mga negatibong elemento. Sa katunayan, may 27,000 law enforcement personnel ang gagamitin para sa araw na ito. Ayon sa post ni Trump sa Truth Social, may isasagawang live viewing ng inaugurasyon sa Capital One Arena na kayang mag-accommodate ng 20,000 katao. Sinabi rin ito na sa arena rin gaganapin ang iba pang events kaugnay ng selebrasyon tulad ng traditional presidential parade. Ilang oras mula ngayon haharap ang Estados Unidos sa panibagong yugto. Kasama nito ang mga katanungan tulad ng bubuti ba ang buhay ng mga mamamayan? Magkakasundo ba ang mga naglalabanan? Masosolusyonan ba ang mga suliraning ipinangakong pagagaangin o ito ba'y 4 na taong katulad din ng dati? Mula rito sa Washington DC, Rosel Feria para sa Mata ng Agila International, Trusted, Connected, On Point.
Pinagkalooban naman ng presidential clemency ni US President Joe Biden ang nasa 2,500 inmates. Subalit, ang mga ito ay pawang convicted ng non-violent drug crimes. Ginawa po ito ng Pangulo ng Amerika ilang araw bago pa man magtapos ang kanyang termino sa White House. Ayon kay Biden, ang naturang mga individual ay nagsisilbi ng mahabang sentensya kumpara sa mga hatol na ipinapataw sa mga nagkakasala ngayon sa ilalim ng batas. Kaugnay nito, ginawa ni Biden ang pardon at pinababa ang sentensya kung saan siya ang tanging Pangulo ng Amerika na gumawa ng nasabing bagay. Nabatid na noong December 2024, binabaan din ni Biden ng sentensya ang nasa 37 sa 40 federal inmates na nahaharap sa death penalty. Ginawa na lamang itong life imprisonment without parole. Inanunsyo din niya sa kaparehong buwan ang pagbibigay ng pardon sa 39 convicts ng non-violent crimes at binabaan ang sentensya ng halos 1,500 na iba pa na nagsisilbi ng mas mahabang taon sa bilangguan. Una nang pinuna ng ilan si Biden matapos bigyan ng pardon ang kanyang anak na si Hunter na guilty sa tax violations at na-convict pa sa firearms-related charges. Samantala, hati naman ang reaksyon dito ng mga US national, lalo na ang mga naging biktima ng mga nagawang krimen na mga nabigyan ng clemency.
Nangako si US President Donald Trump na kanyang lalagdaan ang ilang serye ng executive orders sa unang araw niya bilang Pangulo.
We're going to do a lot of things. You're going to see something tomorrow. You're going to see executive orders that are going to make you extremely happy. Lots of them. Lots of them. We have to set our country on the proper course. By the time the sun sets tomorrow evening, the invasion of our borders will have come to a halt, and all the illegal border trespassers will in some form or another be on their way back home.
Ginawa ni Trump ang pahayag sa harap ng libu-libo niyang supporters na nagtipon-tipon para sa kanyang victory rally sa Washington, D.C. arena. Inaasahan na lalagdaan ni Trump ang mahigit na 200 executive actions nitong Lunes sa Amerika. Kabilang rito ang executive orders na legally binding at iba pang presidential directives gaya ng proclamations na kadalasang hindi ginagawa. Ayon kay Trump, ipapawalang bisa niya ang bawat executive order ng Biden administration na tinawag niyang radical at foolish sa loob ng ilang oras lamang ng kanyang pag-upo sa pwesto. Ipinangako rin ni Trump ang paglagda sa executive orders na magpapabili sa artificial intelligence programs, pagbuo ng Department of Government Efficiency o DOGE. Gagawin din anyang available sa publiko ang mga record kaugnay sa assassination ng ika-35th President ng Amerika na si dating President John F. Kennedy noong 1963. Aatasan ng military na bumuo ng Iron Dome missile defense shield at ang pagpuksa sa diversity, equity at inclusion o DEI policies mula sa U.S. military. Plano rin umano ng papasok na administrasyon ni U.S. President-elect Donald Trump na maglunsad ng malawakang immigration raid sa Chicago isang araw matapos siyang maupo sa pwesto base sa 4 na opisyal na pamilyar sa naturang plano. Ayon sa report, nagpapadala ang U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement o ICE ng nasa pagitan ng 100 at 200 mga opisyal para isagawa ang naturang operasyon. Isasagawaan niya ang operasyon sa buong bansa kung saan makakakita ng mga pag-aresto sa iba pang mga syudad tulad ng New York at Miami. Matatandaan na isa sa mga naging sentro ng kampanya niya noon ay ang paglulunsad ng mass deportation ng undocumented immigrants sa Amerika.
The border security measures I will outline in my inaugural address tomorrow will be the most aggressive, sweeping effort to restore our borders, but we will quickly reestablish control of our sovereign territory and borders. We will expel every single illegal alien, gang member, and migrant criminal operating on American soil and remove the savage gang Tren de Aragua from the United States. Every radical and foolish executive order of the Biden administration will be repealed within hours of when I take the oath of office. Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun watching television tomorrow. But we're going to stop the destructive and divisive diversity, equity, and inclusion mandates all across the government and private sector and return our country to the merit system. We are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
Samantala, halos 150,000 na mga katao ang pumirma ng isang online petition para sa pagbibitiw sa pwesto ni Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Ito po ay dahil nila sa gross mismanagement at kakulangan sa pamumuno ng mayora sa nangyayaring LA wildfires. Narito ang report ni Chantel Santos.
Inaakusahan ng Change.org si Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass ng maling pag-aksyon sa wildfires na umabo sa ilang komunidad sa Los Angeles noong isang linggo. Sa kasalukuyan, halos 150,000 na ang pumirma sa online petition at dumarami pa ang lumalagda rito. Ayon sa petition, niwala si Bass sa bansa habang umaapoy ang mga sunog. Ayon sa petisyon, sa gitna ng mga sunog, naiwan sa krisis ang lungsod. Walang tubig. Bilyong-bilyong taxpayer money ang naligaw ng alokasyon o nawala ng tuluyan. Isama pa ang mga buhay na nasawi, mga pamilyang inilikas, mga bahay na nawasak at pamumuhay na gumuho. Dagdag pa ng petisyon, sa kabila ng pagsisikap ng first responders, hindi handa ang lungsod upang tiyakin ang seguridad at kalagayan ng mga residente nito. Sa gitna ng kakulangan ng pangunahing mga pangangailangan tulad ng tubig at emergency services, walaan niyang pamumunong nasaksihan. Ayon sa mga report, nasa isang diplomatic visit si Bass sa Ghana na magsimula ang wildfires. At bago ang biyahe niyang ito, nag-issue na ang Local Meteorological Agency ng multiple warnings ukol sa matinding banta ng sunog dahil sa malalakas na hangin matapos ang matagal na tagtuyot. Noong Hunyo 2024, inaprobahan ni Bass ang isang budget cut na higit sa $17 million sa fire department. Sa isang report ni Los Angeles Fire Chief Christine Crowley noong December 2024, ang pagbabawas budget na ito ay malaking pagpapahina sa abilidad ng departamento na tumugon ng epektibo sa mga sunog at iba pang emergency. Sa kasalukuyan, nasa 25 katao na ang namatay dahil sa mga sunog. Higit sa 12,300 na istruktura na ang nawasak. At ayon sa mga otoridad, 26 na katao pa ang hindi natatagpuan. 20 ay pinaniniwalaang nasa Eaton Fire Area at 6 sa Palisades Fire Area. Shanto Santos para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Susunod, TikTok balik operasyon na sa Estados Unidos.
Tennis Hall of Famer Novak Djokovic pasok na sa quarterfinals ng Australian Open.
At Fire Aid Concert gaganapin para sa mga biktima ng LA wildfires. Detalye po ng mga balitang yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng mata ng Agila International.
Panibagong linggo, panibagong tayawan sa barangay.
Sa Lunes, magkita-kita tayo sa Barangay 188 Zone 17, Tondo, Manila.
Sa Martes, magkwentuhan tayo kasama ang mga taga-barangay 770 San Andres, Bukid, Manila.
Sa Miyerkules, magsasaya tayo sa Barangay Muzon, Malabon City.
Sa Huwebes, sakang kalu tayo sa Barangay 177 Zone 15, Caloocan City.
Sa Biyernes,
Ikinasawi ng hindi bababa sa 70 katao ang pagsabog ng isang fuel tanker sa Nigeria. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, nasangkot ang nasabing fuel tanker sa isang road accident na naging sanhi ng pagtaob nito. Sinamantala naman ng maraming residente sa lugar ang aksidente. Dinumog nila ang truck para kumuha pa ng langis, subalit sa hindi naasahang pagkakataon ay sumabog ito na siyang dahilan kung kaya't marami ang nasawi habang nasa 56 na individual ang nasaktan. Kinumpirma naman ng National Emergency Management Authority na nadamay sa sunog ng pagsabog ang mahigit sa 15 tindahan. Iginiit naman ng mga otoridad sa lugar na pinagsabihan na ang mga ito, ang mga tao roon, natigilan na ang pagkuha ng langis mula sa truck. Subalit marami pa rin ang hindi nakinig. Naapula naman ng mga bomberong rumisponde sa lugar ang pagkalat ng apoy.
Naku po, literal na hot seat ang naupuan ng isang repairman sa Jiangxi, China matapos magliyab ang inaayos nitong motorsiklo. Kita sa nakalat na CCTV footage na makailang beses na pinihit ng repairman ang handle ng motor para sa check-up ng sumiklab ang apoy mula sa makina nito. Dito na tuluyang nasunog ang upuan ng motor at saka nagpulasan ng mga tao sa loob ng repair shop. Binalikan naman ng repairman ang nasusunog na motor para apulahin ang apoy gamit ang fire extinguisher. Pero kahit ilang beses pa itong patamaan ng fire extinguisher ay hindi mamatay-matay ang apoy. Mapapansin din na binuhusan ng tubig ang motor pero lalong nag-alab pa ang apoy. Sa pangatlong pagkakataon naman ay muling sinubukan ng isang staff na gamitan ito muli ng fire extinguisher. Pagkaraan ng ilang sandali ay humina ang baga ng apoy at dito na nila unti-unting hinila ang motor papalabas ng garahe. Sa kabutihang palad, walang nasaktan sa insidente. Pinaniniwala ang dahil sa isang fuel leak habang kinukumpuni ang motorsiklo kung kaya't nasunog ang makina nito.
Lubos ang pasasalamat ni TikTok CEO Shou-Chi Chue kay US President-elect Donald Trump matapos mangako itong muling bubuhayin ang TikTok sa Estados Unidos. 12 oras ang nakalilipas at balik operasyon na muli ang TikTok sa US. Subalit kahit online na ito ay hindi pa rin mahanap sa Apple at Google Play Stores ang nasabing application kasama ang Lemonade at CapCut na pagmamay-ari rin ng ByteDance. Nitong linggo, sinabi ni Trump na maghahain ito ng executive order para maantala ang implementasyon ng panukalang batas na ipagbawal ang TikTok sa US. Noong April 2024, nang pinirmahan ni outgoing US President Joe Biden ang panukalang batas na pilitin ang ByteDance ang TikTok sa isang non-Chinese company sa loob ng 270 days.
Everyone is Shou here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States.
Pasok na sa quarterfinals ng Australian Open 2025 si 10-time champion Novak Djokovic. Tinalo ng 37 anyos na Serbian tennis star si Jiri Lehecka ng Czech Republic sa score na 6-3, 6-4, 7-6. At dahil po dito ay makakaharap niya si Carlos Alcaraz. Target ni Djokovic na maitala ang pang-25 Grand Slam title. Ito na rin ang pang-66 na quarterfinal appearance ni Djokovic sa mga major tennis games.
Samantala, pasok rin sa quarterfinals ng Australian Open si US tennis star Coco Gauff. Ito ay matapos na talunin niya si Leila Fernandez ng Canada sa score na 6-4 at 7-5. Hawak na ni Gauff ang kalamangan sa 3-1 sa unang set. Subalit nagawa pang lumaban ng Canadian tennis protege at naitala ang 5-3 sa kanyang service game. Inamin nito na isang malaking hamon sa kanya ang Rod Laver Arena dahil sa nakapagtala ito ng double faulting sa kanyang serve. Susunod na makaharap nito sa ikatlong round si Paula Badosa ng Espanya.
Nadagdagan pa po ang mga singers at mga artistang magtatanghal para sa LA Fire Aid Concert. Ayon sa organizers na nagkumpirma na magtatanghal sina Olivia Rodrigo, Stevie Wonder at Peso Pluma. Ang star-studded show ay gaganapin sa January 30. Mayroon ng mahigit 20 performers ang nakalistang makikilahok. Gaganapin ito sa 2 lugar sa Intuit Dome at Kia Forum. Una nang nagkumpirma na magtatanghal sina Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, Rod Stewart, Sting, Katy Perry, Earth, Wind and Fire, John Mayer, No Doubt at marami pang iba. Isasagawa ang nasabing konsyerto bilang pagbibigay pugay sa mga bumbero at ang malilikom na pondo po rito ay ibibigay sa mga nasunugan sa Los Angeles.
Samantala, dinumog ng fans at dumagundong ang Philippine Arena sa Day 1 at Day 2 concert ng K-pop group na 17. Ang iba pang mga Pinoy fans na nasa ibang bansa, umuwi pa ng Pilipinas para mapanood ang kanilang mga idolo. Si Mark De La Rosa sa balita.
Umaga pa lang ng Day 1 at Day 2 ay dumog na ang fans na tinatawag na Philo Carats ng K-pop boy group na 17 sa vicinity ng Philippine Arena. Ang ilan nga sa kanila gumagala sa paligid ng Philippine Arena bago ang itinakdang oras ng concert. Nagsilbi din itong reunion sa ilang magkakaibigan na nabuo ang friendship dahil iniidolo nila ang K-pop group. Nangyari ang matagumpay na concert nitong dalawang gabi ng weekend, January 18 at 19, 2025 sa Philippine Sports Stadium sa Ciudad de Victoria, Bulacan. Marami sa fellow Carrots fans, first time pa sa Philippine Arena, kaya sobrang nagalak sila sa good at memorable experience nila dito.
Since high school, fan na po ako. Pero first time kong ma-attend ang concert ngayon.
Naisip ko din, since wala naman siyang makasama, and ayoko naman mag-isa lang siya pupunta doon. So sumama na din ako.
Because we really love 17 and they're so fun to watch. They're very addicting to watch. And it was nice. It was better than last year. Yeah, it's kind of worth it.
Ang iba naman sa kanila ay galing pa sa ibang bansa gaya ng Australia at Egypt. At first time nilang masilayan ng personal at makatungtong sa Philippine Arena.
Stadium's amazing so far. They're massive, much bigger than the ones we have in Australia.
It's a nice place. I like the venue. It's overwhelming a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but it's cool. I'm really glad that we decided to go.
Ang iba naman sa kanila ay sinabing ang 17 pala ang magpapauwi sa kanila sa Pilipinas. Kaya kasama ng kanilang mga kababata at mga kaibigan dito sa bansa ay sabay-sabay silang nanood ng 17 concert.
We flew last Thursday and then we're coming back home on Monday. Just for the concert.
Nagpasalamat din ang maraming fans dahil nagmistula umanong VIP sila dahil sa treatment sa kanila. While waiting, binuksan kasi ang Philippine Arena para doon sila maghintay para sa maagang dumating sa concert venue. Dumagundong sa malakas na tugtugan at hiyawan ang buong Philippine Stadium na magsimula ang nasabing konsyerto. Sa kabuuan, nasa 26 na mga kanta ang inihandog ng grupo para sa 2-day concert. Marami ang sumabay ng awitin na ng grupo ang kanilang hit song na Very Nice na siyang nagsilbing closing song din ng grupo. Hindi umano malilimutan ng maraming fans ang gabing iyon na puno ng saya at musika na kahit papaano ay pansamantalang nagpawala ng kanilang mga isipin sa buhay.
Lagi namang happy, lagi namang enjoy yung experience with 17. And then, the venue, well, it's a lot better.
Thank you for choosing the Philippines as one of your stops sa World Tour. Oh, the first for the year, yan.
Maraming salamat sa pagpapasaya sa lahat ng Carrots na nandito.
Nagpapasalamat ang 17 sa fellow Carrots sa pagdalo ng kanilang ginawang concert sa Philippine Sports Stadium sa Ciudad de Victoria. Hindi nila inaakalang mahigit sa 30,000 fans ang nakikisaya sa kanilang Right Here World Tour. Masaya rin sila sa ipinakitang energy ng fans at nagnanais pa ang mga ito na muling bumalik sa Pilipinas. Bago matapos ang kanilang concert ay nagpa-photo op sila kasama ang buong crowd. Samantala, trending naman online ang ilang mga video na kuha sa mismong concert ng 17. Bumaha din ng iba't ibang reels sa Facebook, IG at TikTok videos at mga memes na naglabasan after the concert na talagang umani ng libu-libong likes and shares mula sa netizens. May ilang influencers din online na na-amaze sa kanilang naging experience sa nasabing concert. Tuwang-tuwa din ang ilang maswerteng fans na nagkaroon ng personal contact sa bawat isang miyembro ng 17 gaya ng fans na nabigyan ng bottled water ni Songwan at nag-filming sa cellphone ng isang fan, si Joshua. Mark De La Rosa, para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
At narito po kami para maghatid ng balita sa anumang dako ng mundo. Magandang gabi po. Ako po muli si Ricky Matay.
Ako naman si Nina Richie Alago Flores sa bumabati ng maligayang Lunes po itong mata ng Agila International. Para naman po sa iba pang mga balitang nanggaling din sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina Enrique. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. The ceasefire deal and the release of hostages. For the first time in 15 months, Israeli strikes have come to a halt. As part of the agreement, aid trucks have started to flow in. But the question remains, for how long? And the news starts now. Hamas freed 3 Israeli hostages while Israel released 90 Palestinian prisoners on Sunday, marking the first day of a ceasefire in a 15-month war that has left the Gaza Strip in ruins and heightened tensions across the Middle East. The truce gave Palestinians a chance to return to their shattered neighborhoods and start piecing their lives back together as relief trucks rolled in with urgently needed supplies.
Video released by the Israeli government showed the raw, emotional, tearful scenes inside a hospital where 3 women held captive in Gaza for 15 months were finally reunited with family members and loved ones on Sunday. The release of Emily, Damari, Doron Steinbrecher, and Romy Gonen marked what is meant to be the beginning of an initial phase in a ceasefire deal between Israel and the Palestinian Hamas militant group. Hamas fighters celebrating the ceasefire delivered the hostages to the Red Cross earlier in the day, which then transferred them to Israeli forces. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video of him receiving a phone call that the 3 were in Israeli hands. He said that the entire nation embraced them. Israel has pledged to release Palestinian prisoners from its jails as part of the agreement. The exchange of prisoners and captives was a primary goal of the ceasefire reached last week with the help of the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar, aiming to end more than a year of devastating war in Gaza. The fighting erupted when Hamas gunmen rampaged through Israeli communities on October 7, 2023, killing 1,200 and taking more than 250 hostages. Israel launched a massive military operation, it said, aimed at freeing the captives and destroying Hamas. Palestinian health officials say the onslaught killed nearly 47,000, reduced the enclave to rubble, and displaced almost the entire population of over 2 million. Palestinians praised the ceasefire, which permits 600 truckloads of desperately needed aid to enter Gaza every day in the initial 6-week period. The truce also calls for fighting to stop and 33 of nearly 100 Israeli and foreign hostages to go free over the first phase, in return for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails.
The deal that I first put forward last May for the Middle East has finally come to fruition.
U.S. President Joe Biden on Sunday hailed the hard-fought agreement, one day before his successor, Donald Trump, returns to the White House.
So as we reflect on the news from Gaza today, we also remember all the victims of this war. We're mindful that the pursuit of a lasting peace, while never easy or quick, must always be our calling. By the 16th day of the deal, talks will begin in the second phase. This phase includes the release of Israeli soldiers and a permanent end of the war without Hamas in power or able to threaten Israel. Hundreds of trucks are entering Gaza as I speak. They're carrying assistance for civilians who suffered enormously from the war that Hamas started on October 7, 2023, nearly 15 months ago. Today alone, we anticipate several hundred trucks will enter the Gaza Strip as I'm speaking. And after so much pain, destruction, loss of life, today the guns in Gaza have gone silent.
Perhaps most beautiful of all, this week we achieved an epic ceasefire agreement as a first step toward lasting peace in the Middle East. And this agreement could only have happened as a result of our historic victory in November. But I'm glad to report that the first hostages have just been released. And who knows what's going to happen? I know that Biden is saying that they made the deal. Well, You know, I mean, that deal should have, first of all, it would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened. There was not even a thought of it.
I want to thank you for the President Trump to make this deal happen, and President Biden to never give up on us. But as I'm speaking to you today, I want to make sure that the world will know the deal must go on in full, in completely, in all the stages. I know how it's to be the one that will be left behind. Watching other hostages bring release to their families. My partner, Avinatan O, and many other hostages are in hell, and they wait for the second that you will be released too.
Helicopters carrying the 3 freed hostages landed outside a hospital in Ramat Gan after nightfall, and the crowd there rejoiced.
I was able to touch her for a few seconds and to hear her voice saying, I love you.
Guy Jacobi said he is a friend of Emily Damari and was thankful for the brief moment he got to hold her hand on her way to the hospital.
And there's no words to describe what I'm feeling right now.
I'm happy to report that they are in stable condition that allows us and them to focus on what is the most important thing for now, is reuniting with their families. They are reunited with their families, and we will continue to monitor their clinical condition. This will take a few more days until we complete all the examinations that are needed and treat whatever we find within these within the workup that we will perform.
At his Make America Great Again victory rally in Washington, D.C. on Sunday, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump made bold promises for his first day in office, pledging to sign a series of executive orders aimed at reversing many of President Biden's policies. Among his top priorities, Trump emphasized border security, mass deportations, and the repeal of government diversity initiatives, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in U.S. policy. Take a look.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump plans to sign a slew of executive orders on his first day in office. That's what he announced at his Make America Great Again victory rally in Washington, D.C. on Sunday.
Every radical and foolish executive order of the Biden administration will be repealed within hours of when I take the oath of office. Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun watching television tomorrow.
Among the first executive orders he promised to make were pledges central to his presidential campaign on border security and mass deportations.
By the time the sun sets tomorrow evening, the invasion of our borders will have come to a halt, and all the illegal border trespassers will in some form or another be on their way back home.
Trump's deportation plans have unsettled immigrants subject to removal, including some who immigrant advocates say are law-abiding long-term residents with U.S. citizen spouses and children. The rally on Sunday marks Trump's first major address in the nation's capital since his speech on January 6, 2021 to his supporters, some who later stormed the Capitol building. Trump said Sunday pardons for many of those convicted for their roles in that attack would come as soon as he takes office.
And tomorrow, everybody in this very large arena will be very happy with my decision on the J6 hostages. Very happy.
Trump also said he would roll back government diversity initiatives, boost oil and gas production, cull career bureaucrats, and other policy items. He also pledged to release classified files linked to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert Kennedy, and civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr.
We are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam. Come here, Elon!
Speakers at Sunday's rally included Tesla's Elon Musk, who Trump has named to lead a new department to slash bureaucracy and cut government regulations. He was called by Trump to the stage to speak, though J.D. Vance, who will be sworn in on Monday as vice president, was not. Trump seemed to be unsure where Vance was in the arena.
Wherever the hell he is, he's here someplace.
In just a few hours, Donald Trump returns to the presidency today in a historic indoor inauguration at the U.S. Capitol, marking the start of a new administration. Rochelle Feria reports from Washington, D.C.
A few hours from now, the United States will replace its administration. After Joe Biden's 4-year term, Donald Trump will once again be president of the country. At the nation's capital in the U.S. Capitol building, Trump's inauguration will take place, and so will his Vice President J.D. Vance. Today at noon local time, Donald J. Trump will once again take the presidential oath of office. There will be a stark contrast, however, with today's events as compared to Trump's first inauguration in 2017. Inauguration of U.S. presidents are traditionally held on the steps of the Capitol building, as was the case for Trump's first swearing-in. This year, frigid temperatures prompted organizers to move the ceremony indoors. The National Weather Service is forecasting the temperature in Washington to be 22 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 6 degrees Celsius when Trump becomes president. That would be the coldest since Ronald Reagan's second inauguration, which saw temperatures drop to minus 14 Celsius. The swearing-in of the president-elect will be held inside the Capitol Rotunda. According to the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the rotunda can only hold about 600 people. It is prepared as an alternative for each inauguration in the event of inclement weather. Among those expected to witness the ceremony from the rotunda are President Joe Biden, former Presidents Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton. Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, TikTok's Shu Chu, and as well as Elon Musk are also reserved VIP seats. Americans who traveled from different parts of the country are disappointed. They will not get a chance to see Trump from public viewing areas on the National Mall.
We were planning on being in the standing crowd next to the Capitol for the inauguration tomorrow. So yes, we're very disappointed that we're not going to be a part of that, but we understand based upon the weather issues that we're experiencing, not to mention the security concerns that everyone has.
Others understood the reason of the cancellation and took it positively.
I'd be more disappointed if something were to happen due to the cold or something were to happen due to a lot of violence that's been happening this election cycle. That would be a major disappointment. So I'm really just happy to be a part of it. There's going to be so many lovely people that are still going to be here and events along with that, I'd imagine. So no, my only disappointment would lie in the hypothetical if something were to happen in the cold.
Although retired firefighter from California, Chris Kenton, knew the outdoor events were canceled, he visited the area yesterday out of curiosity.
I came here to D.C. to check out what was going on. I had tickets for the inauguration, but evidently it's been canceled on the West Steps here, so it's kind of sad. But I showed up anywhere because I wanted to see what's actually going on and what the people are doing. And it seems unusually quiet. Actually, it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. It feels like a library.
Security still remains tight around the U.S. Capitol. Tall steel fences are in place. 25,000 law enforcement personnel are on hand. According to Trump's post on Truth Social, a live viewing of the events will be held at the Capital One Arena, which seats about 20,000 people. The president-elect also said the arena would be the venue of other events such as the traditional presidential parade. A few moments from now, the United States will enter a new chapter, and with the turning of this new leaf, questions come along with it. Will the people's way of living be better? Will those in conflict find reconciliation? Will promised solutions be the people's problem be delivered? Or will the next 4 years be just as it was 4 years ago? In Washington, D.C., Rochelle Feria for NET25 World News.
TikTok began restoring its services on Sunday after President-elect Donald Trump said he would revive the app's access in the U.S. when he returns to power Monday. Take a look.
TikTok announced it was restoring service to users in the U.S. on Sunday after it briefly went dark in anticipation of a law forcing it to shut down in the country. The video sharing app said the reversal was thanks to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, who said he would revive the app in the U.S. after he was sworn into office on Monday. A bipartisan law had threatened to force TikTok to either divest its U.S. operations or shut down, citing national security concerns and data risks due to the app's Chinese parent company, ByteDance. A unanimous U.S. Supreme Court upheld the law on Friday. But on Sunday, Trump wrote on Truth Social that he would postpone the period of time before the law took effect and set a goal, 50% ownership in the app by U.S. investors. He said, quote, "By doing this, we save TikTok, keep it in good hands, and allow it to stay up." Trump's support for TikTok is a reversal from when he first pushed for the ban in 2020 while in office. Even if temporary, the unprecedented shutdown of TikTok could have a wide-ranging impact. The U.S. has never before banned a major social media platform. The law, passed overwhelmingly by Congress, gives the incoming Trump administration sweeping authority to ban or seek the sale of other Chinese-owned apps.
And as of today, TikTok is back. So they'll have a partner, the United States, and they'll have a lot of bidders, and the United States will do what we call a joint venture. And there's no risk. We're not putting up any money. All we're doing is giving them the approval, without which they don't have anything. So I don't know. It sounds like that works. What do you think? Good?
Privately held ByteDance is about 60% owned by institutional investors such as BlackRock and General Atlantic, while its investors and employees own 20% each. It has more than 7,000 employees in the U.S.
Finance Secretary Ralph Recto has been appointed as President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s special envoy at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Cluster, Switzerland, running from January 20 to 24, according to the Department of Finance. In a statement released on Monday, the DOF shared that Recto will be engaging with international partners to secure investments that will boost the Philippines' key industries. And these efforts aim to improve the country's logistics, strengthen the workforce, and expand initiatives in artificial intelligence and financial inclusion. The goal is to create more job opportunities, raise incomes, and reduce poverty, all contributing to sustainable and inclusive economic growth for the Philippines. In the latest Global Risks Report 2025, a collaboration between the World Economic Forum, Marsh McLennan, and Zurich Insurance Group, experts are sounding the alarm about the future. Nearly two-thirds of those surveyed believe we're heading into a decade of uncertainty, with little hope for calmer times ahead.
The other huge thing that the era of conflict and the WEF's risk report, is right in saying this is both people's perception, but it's also driving a whole new policy. If we look at what's happening to defense spending across every category of country in the world, we see countries that are fiscally constrained, so governments are trying to cut expenditure, but they're massively increasing their defense budgets. And the last 30 years, people have talked about us living in this golden era of turning swords into plowshares, to use the biblical phrase. And now we're on the eve of a world which is turning plowshares back into swords. And that's got real consequences for the world and for our economies and for our governments.
Well, yeah, I think it's tied up with the fact that we've got conflict coming out at number one for the very short term, right? So cyber espionage and warfare, a huge, big part of that. And I think, we're seeing it around the world, right? We've seen it in Lebanon, the link between cyber and physical warfare really sort of coming out into the open, let's put it that way. The military has been working on it for a long time, but this was perhaps the first time that we, the world in general has seen just how effective that can be.
Well, I think what we've seen over the last 10 years has been a hybridization of how countries represent their interests, and you don't have to go to kinetic hot war in order to be adversarial and be aggressive. And of course, as the tools have got better, people have done this more and more. I mean, many disinformation campaigns that take place within democracies can be traced back to, autocratic adversaries.
So it's not that people don't believe it's happening, and they're certainly living it happening. It's that they want to know that others are also, taking action to prevent it. Climate is genuinely a collective action problem. Each of us will act to prevent it if and only if we believe that others are going to act as well. And the hard thing about the climate change negotiations that just took place in Baku is that the really big countries' leaders were not there. And of course, if you're a very small country facing terrible climate effects, and you don't believe that the United States, certainly as of January 2025, is going to be committed to taking action to get to a net zero position, then the prospects of your actions having an impact, become very small.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. today called former President Rodrigo Duterte's claims about blank checks in the proposed 2025 national budget as lies. Speaking to the media in Taguig City, President Marcos denied allegations that the 2025 General Appropriations Act includes unspecified projects or funding details.
He's lying. He's a president. He knows that you cannot pass a GAA without with a blank. He's lying. He's lying because he knows perfectly well that that doesn't ever happen. Sa kasaysayan ng buong Pilipinas, hindi pinapayagan na magkaroon ng item ang GAA nang hindi nakalagay kung ano yung project at saka ano yung gastos, ano yung pondo. So, it's a lie. I was watching the news earlier today and people were saying it's 4,000 pages. Paano namin ibubusisiin yan? Ang ganito, para titignan namin isa-isa. Hindi na lang. Meron namang kopya that's available on the website of DBM. Tignan ninyo, huwag na ninyong busisihin isa-isa. Hanapin nyo yung sinasabi nila na blank check. Tignan ninyo kung meron kahit isa para mapatunayan na tama ang sinasabi ko, kasinungalingan yan.
In a podcast video shared on Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte's YouTube channel, former President Rodrigo Duterte and Davao City 3rd District Representative Isidro Ungab alleged that at least 13 pages of the proposed budget contain items with blank appropriations, hinting at a blank check scheme for a future spending. Malacanang was quick to push back, strongly denying the claims. They emphasized that the 2025 budget, spanning over 4,000 pages across 2 volumes, was meticulously reviewed by Congress and budget experts from the Department of Budget and Management. And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back.
Abangan niyo po kami tuwing Sabado at Linggo 8 to 9 a.m. Dito lang yan sa NET25. Ito ang tahanan. Ako po si Ate Sherilyn.
Malaysian Foreign Minister Mohammed Hassan opened the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat in Langkawi, setting the tone for Malaysia's chairmanship of the regional bloc.
This retreat is an opportunity to visualize not just the year that lies ahead, but also how we will set the tone for the new era in a world full of uncertainty. ASEAN encompasses a region that is one of the most diverse in the world. Yet, defying all expectation of outsiders, we are also among the most peaceful. We do not wage war on one another. We do not undermine each other's sovereignty. We do so much more than simply coexist. We collaborate. This is our way, and it is precisely the ASEAN way that will carry us through the turbulence of the coming year.
Speaking to his counterparts, Hassan emphasized ASEAN's centrality in addressing regional challenges.
What we need to anticipate are the potential challenges to ASEAN centrality. As the global order shifts, numerous multilateral pacts have and may continue to emerge that may disrupt this region's security landscape. We must ensure that ASEAN remains our central go-to platform for solution seeking.
Hassan acknowledged the shifting global order and the need for ASEAN to remain united as its member nations face mounting security and political challenges.
ASEAN's strength lies in the way it represents an entirely different model of engagement. One where shared decision-making transcends differences in governance. It is one where influence is not measured only by military might or economic power, but by the ability to foster dialogue, to encourage cooperation, and to build the trust necessary for global peace and prosperity.
Turning to Myanmar, ASEAN urged the country's ruling military to abandon plans for an election amid ongoing violence. Instead, Hassan called for an immediate ceasefire, dialogue, and unhindered humanitarian aid.
We also want to know what they have in mind. One thing that we know, that want to have election, but we told them election is not a priority at the moment. The priority now is to ceasefire, and everybody have to stand down. So that is important, and access to all segments on humanitarian aid in Myanmar. Very simple, and I don't think that is a very difficult task for them to fulfill. The 5-point consensus is a platform for negotiation basis that we want Myanmar to adhere to that. It's very simple, that stop the hostilities, access of humanitarian aid, and dialogue with ASEAN's partners.
On the South China Sea, Hassan expressed optimism about progress in the negotiations for a code of conduct between ASEAN and China. He emphasized the need to maintain stability in the region.
On South China Sea, we touched base on the retreat welcome, the progress of the negotiations of the Code of Conduct in South China Sea, and highlighted the need to continue the momentum to expedite the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea negotiations towards an early conclusion and an effective and substantive COC in accordance with UNCLOS 1982. We stress that South China Sea must remain peaceful and stable.
The Myanmar military and the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army have signed a ceasefire agreement effective from Saturday, halting fighting near the Myanmar-China border.
中缅是友好邻邦，中方坚决反对缅甸生战生乱，希望各方保持停火和谈势头，切实落实已经达成的共识，主动缓和现地局势，通过对话进一步协商解决有关问题。
The talks took place in Kunming, China, where both sides thanked Beijing for its peace efforts. China's foreign ministry emphasized that de-escalating tensions in northern Myanmar benefits both countries and contributes to regional stability. The MNDAA, part of the Three Brotherhood Alliance, has been fighting to protect its territories against Myanmar's military since late 2023. It controls areas near the Chinese border, and fears of instability in the region have raised concerns in China about the impact on trade and investments. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's newly minted cryptocurrency soared today to top $9 billion in market value, amassing billions of dollars in trading volume just hours ahead of his return to the White House.
Donald Trump's new cryptocurrency has soared ahead of his inauguration. The Trump token drew in billions in trading volume on Monday, giving it a market capitalization of about $12 billion. That's according to the data site CoinMarketCap. Trump launched the coin on Friday, branded with an image from his attempted assassination in July. His wife Melania has also launched her own token. Even crypto community players were surprised by the moves. One said it opened up a Pandora's box of ethical and regulatory questions as it blurs the line between governance and markets. However, another called Trump's coin digital gold. The billionaire has promised to be a crypto president. He's expected to issue orders removing regulatory roadblocks for the industry, and he's named crypto fans to key positions. The prospect of a favourable regime in Washington has seen digital assets of all kinds surge. Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, has also soared since his election win in November. In early European trading on Monday, it hit fresh record highs above $109,000.
In the Netherlands, it's Tulip Day, marking the start of the season for the Dutch national flower. Merchants traditionally celebrate by giving away tulips in the center of Amsterdam. And this year, there were around 200,000 flowers up for grabs. Amsterdam is clearly going all out for its 750th anniversary.
You see here, so far I can look at this moment, people comes from over all of the world to pick up the tulips for free. It's a gift from all the national tulip growers from the Netherlands to celebrate the start of the season.
I love them, they're so pretty. I feel happy. But thanks to the color, I think they are most likely to represent life and joy because they are so vibrant, and that's what I actually feel myself about.
And that is tonight's episode of NET25 World News. I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again tomorrow.